In giving this tribute, I ask in sincerity and with every polite nerve I have that no one here or elsewhere think me rude or impolite when I refer to my late boss as Mr. Venner. Here is my simple reason. When Mr. Venner succeeded my former boss, the late Sir Cecil Jacobs, at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, he had already been here as a member of the board of directors who had very much endeared himself to us all. And that was way back in antiquity, before several Caribbean states and institutions decided to honor him with distinguished titles because of his superlative work. Because of the superlative work he was doing right here in this institution. St. Lucia led the way in 1996, conferring on him the award of Commander of the British Empire, CBE, followed by the University of the West Indies, which in 1998 recognized him as a distinguished graduate. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which undoubtedly must have said, "This is my boy, and none of you own him," called on Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II in 2001 to confer on him the title of Knight Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, which is, of course, the reason all of us now call him in public or speak and write about him as Sir Dwight. In October 2003, the Honorable Sir Dwight was the recipient of an honorary degree, the Doctor of Laws, from the University of the West Indies. In December 2011, he was awarded the St. Lucia Cross for distinguished and outstanding service of national importance to St. Lucia. Look up his biography, and you will see the rivalry in our region to own him. So, with that long apology, I now proceed to tell you what I personally experienced here at this institution with Mr. Venner. It was as a Director of Finance and Planning and an ECCB Board of Directors of St. Lucia that I first met Mr. Venner. In fact, he was the first Director of Finance and Planning of a member government to be appointed as Director of the Central Bank. The practice prior to this was to appoint executives from the private sector to be members of the ECCB Board of Directors. His appointment broke that trend, and thereafter, financial secretaries and/or directors of finance in all member states were appointed directors. I recall Mr. Venner and Dr. Vaughan Lewis pioneering the movement to foster Caribbean integration and an OECS union, and I further recall both men coming to St. Kitts and Nevis to champion that cause. Mr. Cecil Jacobs, the then governor, together with Mr. Venner and other financial secretaries and/or directors of finance as technicians, worked with advisors from the International Monetary Fund to draft the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank Agreement, and later in 1983 was a witness to its signing at the Hilton Hotel in Trinidad. I was fortunate to serve as Mr. Venner's secretary and a personal assistant until my retirement. At the time of his appointment, the staff of the Central Bank was 94, with 4 departments, but the new governor came with a positive vision, and with it, the zeal to enhance the functions of the bank. Through his leadership skills over time, other departments were established, and the staff population rose to over 200. Corporate institutions such as the Eastern Caribbean Home Mortgage Bank, ECMHB, the Eastern Caribbean Institute of Banking, ECIB, and the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange, ECSE, were also established. 2 resident representative offices were already established in Grenada and St. Lucia, but shortly after Mr. Venner's appointment as governor, he ensured that every state in the currency union had its own resident representative office. Through his instrumentality, meetings of the Board of Directors and the Monetary Council were held on a round-robin basis in each member territory. Mr. Venner saw the need for dialogue and cooperation with the regional commercial banks, and through his initiative, the annual Commercial Bank Conference became an institutional reality. He also introduced the annual Sir Arthur Lewis Memorial Lecture Series, which is now in its 22nd year. Your Excellencies, Honorable Prime Ministers and Ministers of Council, Governor Timothy Antoine, Deputy Governor Mr. Trevor Brathwaite, Lady Linda Venner, other distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, all. You will agree with me that this Caribbean icon who today we honor posthumously was not ordinary. He was extraordinary. Being Nivision, I cannot leave this out. The story of the bridge. One of Governor Venner's early desires was to see the construction of a bridge, a physical bridge, that is, between St. Kitts and Nevis. A bridge he felt would negate all talks of secession. Indeed, it also exemplified his passion for regionalism. Towards that goal, he commissioned a feasibility study and a blueprint patterned on a bridge in Nova Scotia, Canada. The concept was aborted when the federal government and the Nevis Island administration of the day failed to reach an agreement on the way forward. Somewhere in the bank's archives is a document on that very matter. Mr. Venner, although born to Vincentian parents in St. Vincent, would not say that he was Vincentian, Grenadian, Jamaican, St. Lucian, or Kittitian, countries where he lived for extended periods of time. He would, with emphasis, declare he was a Caribbean man. So I dare anyone, Lady Venner and their children being the only exceptions, to lay absolute claim on him. Yes. My years serving in his office had been for me a great honor and a lasting learning experience. We are gathered here in ceremony to name this building in honor of the late Sir K. Dwight Vincent Anthony Venner, a fitting tribute to this servant whose faithfulness and dedication I witnessed in its planning, construction, and completion in 1994. What more can be said about this incredible Caribbean servant? Indeed, much, much more. Unfortunately, time will not allow. I wish, finally, to register my deepest appreciation and gratitude to Governor Timothy Antoine and his management team for giving me the privilege to participate in this event to mark the naming of this magnificent edifice and landmark in recognition of the distinguished service of Sir K. Dwight Venner, an illustrious Caribbean son. His legacy will live on. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and on the wings of angels rise in glory. Thank you.